Ladies and gentlemen, SCOTUS Ruling has actually come down. The ruling of the ages is being called, did or should Donald Trump get presidential immunity? It is something that we have talked about. Tony is here, ladies and gentlemen, by the way. We have talked about this stuff time and time again. The pros and cons of presidential immunity. Some people think that presidential immunity should not be a thing because of current administration and current things that this administration is doing and current puppets that may be in play, but there's also the pros to it as well. Can the president of the United States actually do the job the president of the United States is supposed to do if they are worried that once they are no longer president, their enemies can come after them in the background for the decisions that they had to make in real time, in real moments across the board? Well, literally right now, breaking news, the Supreme Court has made a decision. Let's go to the video right now. This is Fox News breaking it. Let's find out what the decision is. Here we go.
Fox News Alert, we're going to get out of that commercial break because we have word that the Supreme Court has issued a ruling on the extent of presidential immunity from criminal prosecution for conduct alleged to involve official acts during the tenure of President Trump. This is the big one we've been waiting for. It's consequential. It's really interesting that the Supreme Court in 248 years of our history has never actually ruled on this. So it is big and sweeping. And I have our political panel looking over this right now. Andy McCarthy, Chief Justice John Roberts has the writing on this. He's got the pen. Is that significant?
It's very significant. It's the most important case of the term in terms of the long-term interests of the executive branch, in terms of the short-term interests of Donald Trump. And it looks like, at least within the bounds of clear executive authority, what Chief Justice Roberts is saying is that the president clearly has immunity from prosecution. Ooh. So the question is going to be, again, I think Trey underscored this before, is what is an official act? There's going to be a lot of litigation about that, and what's close to the core of clear executive constitutional authority versus the outer ambit of it.
Okay. All right. So sounds like we got a ruling that presidential immunity is a thing and is granted to Trump. Can we do we have the official opinion here? Do we have the official opinion that we can pull up? All right. So let's go up to the top. Let's go up to the top here. Let's read this. So the Supreme Court of the United States syllabus Trump versus the United States. Whoever thought that we'd have seen that? I have no idea. The United States for Appeals, the District Court. Okay, here we go. All right. A federal grand jury indicted former President Donald J. Trump on 4 counts for conduct that occurred during his presidency following the November 2020 election. The indictment alleged that after losing that election, Trump conspired to overturn it by spreading knowingly false claims of election fraud to obstruct the collecting, counting, and certifying of the election results. Trump moved to dismiss the indictment based on the presidential immunity, arguing that a president has absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for actions performed within the outer perimeter of his official responsibilities, and that the indictment's allegations fell within the core of his official duties. The district court denied Trump's motion to dismiss, holding that former presidents do not possess federal criminal immunity for any acts. The D.C. Circuit Court affirmed. Both the District Court and D.C. Circuit Court declined to decide whether the indicted conduct involved official acts. Okay, held. All right, so this must be their thing. Under our constitutional structure of separated powers, the nature of the presidential power entitles a former president to absolute immunity from criminal prosecution for actions within his conclusive and preclusive constitutional authority, and he is entitled to at least presumptive immunity from prosecution for all his official acts. There is no immunity for unofficial acts. This is a slam dunk for President Trump. Jack Smith and all these, indictments of insurrection and treason and all this stuff, it just went out the window with this.
So what this is saying is that he has immunity from any of his acts during his presidency?
As long as it's defined as an official act. And their argument is the president has an official act to make sure that a fair and decent election was held.
But does that immunity also can they look back on this now and say all former presidents and the current president has immunity as well, or this is just
anything that is understood from what I read there, anything that's understood as an official act as president.
Okay.
So in other words, if you're operating a cocaine ring outside of the office of the president of the United States, that no.
Right.
Anything that falls within the realm of what is considered an official act of president of the United States. So this is going to apply to the documents and whether or not, he had the authority to declassify and whatever. Literally all the president has to do, from my understanding, is speak the words. These are unclassified, and that's it. And so they were going after him with that. They were going after him with the January 6th stuff and all this thing. But now they're saying that, the Supreme Court just ruled on it. And to Fox News's point earlier, it's weird that as a country, we've never had the Supreme Court of the United States actually make a ruling on the presidential immunity. So this is gigantic, as it was called, a rule for the ages. This will now be a Supreme Court precedent set decision that presidents of the United States have absolute immunity within obligations as overseen as president of the United States.
So do you think why the Supreme Court has never ruled on immunity before was because they've never gone after a former president like they have Donald Trump?
Ding, 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 ding. Tony, look at you. Look at Tony with the zingers coming in here. Absolutely. That is 100% true. They've never had to do this because honestly, it's just always been this understood thing. Presidents of the United States have to do things and have to make decisions that a lot of people don't understand. Literally, we said it on the show earlier today. If Abraham Lincoln today had freed the slaves and then, had lived and retired and all this other kind of stuff, his next person, if the opposite party would then go after him and say, Abraham Lincoln should be put in jail because of the decision he made it accounted for hundreds of thousands of people, American citizens, losing their lives for the decision that he made.
Right.
It opens up this gigantic Pandora's box that, yes, do I understand there's cons to this? Because do I believe the government does everything the right way? No, I do not. So yes, there are some cons there. Do I believe that there are more pros to this? Yes, because we need a commander-in-chief right then, right now. We're on the brink of World War III. What are you going to do? The president has facts and inside information that we mere citizens will never have. They have to be able to think calmly, think rationally, and make the best decision for America. If even going to Congress to grant the war powers to go to war one day, if they know in the back of their head, oh goodness, if I do this and they 20 years from now look at this and find that they think what I did was wrong, they could come back to me and try to prosecute me for my decisions I made as official acts of the presidency. No one's ever going to be able to do anything. And so I think deep down, this is a win for America. Yes, I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not saying there's no cons to it, but it's especially a win for Donald Trump in this January 6th impeachment from Jack Smith. Donald Trump did have something to say, right? Oh, no, here we go. Here you go. This is a little more in-depth thing. Supreme Court affirms absolute immunity for official acts in Trump's case. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled on Monday. Official acts, we just read that, in a 6-3 ruling. Wow, okay. I wonder who the three dissenters were. I wonder if it'll tell us that. Quote, the president enjoys no immunity. Oh, hold on. Let's see here. D.C. federal case, Trump's legal team that could set the trial schedule in 2020 election case against him back months or years. It ever happens. Quote, the president enjoys no immunity for his unofficial acts. There we go. And not everything the president does is official. Chief Justice John Roberts wrote for the majority. The president's not above the law, but Congress may not criminalize the president's conduct in carrying out the responsibilities of the executive branch under the Constitution. Constitution. Quote, the president must therefore may not be prosecuted for exercising the core constitutional powers, and he is entitled at a minimum to a presumptive immunity for the prosecution for all the official acts. Okay. The lawyer for Trump, 78, who appointed 3 of the 9 justices to the Supreme Court, unfurled a legal theory of sweeping protection from prosecution of any acts undertaken while in office in a bid to quash the 4-count case against the former president. In other words, this just completely and utterly destroyed Jack Smith's case. And yet again, it's going to be another win for Donald Trump. Let's go to Trump's actual statement here. Donald Trump actually said this in all caps: big win for our Constitution and democracy. Proud to be an American. Cue the Lee Greenwood music. Proud to be an American. I believe this is a slam dunk win. What do you think? Comment below and let me know. Do you think this is a win? Do you think this is a loss? Do you not care at all? Let us know what you think in the comment section. Major moment for America.
I think what Justice Roberts said there was very powerful. And I don't think I think what he meant after reading that was he just said that Congress cannot weaponize to go against Donald Trump there. Yep. So
the Supreme Court is ending this nonsensical, childish behavior, and I'm here for it. MAGA, all it does is win, baby. Let's go.